The next enumeration topic we'll look at is network enumeration. And what I'm talking about now is getting a little bit more information than what you might get out of a simple ping scan or a port scan of a device. Typically during network enumeration, you're getting a lot more information about the services that are running, particularly the major services. And I'm talking things you would find on an enterprise network. If you're in a Windows domain, obviously you're looking for LDAP. LDAP is a lightweight directory access protocol, and LDAP is what makes Active Directory and other distributed directory systems work. Enumerating LDAP, and there's plenty of tools out there you can do this with, will give you information on possible shares, on users, and other resources on a network, especially an Active Directory network. And there are a lot of LDAP enumeration tools out there. SNMP gives you information on the simple network management protocol. And SNMP basically is used to manage devices. And it typically can have default passwords, and we really don't call them passwords, we call them community strings. And each device has to have the community string set correctly. Now, in some cases, you might have default community strings set in older versions of SNMP, and these are literally public and private because there's a private community string and a public community string, and sometimes these default to public and private as their actual string names. SMTP is Simple Mail Transfer Protocol, and enumerating SMTP gives you information like the server name. You also may want to know whether the server, the SMTP server itself, takes connections. If it takes connections, then you can actually use that server to forward email requests out to other users. In other words, you can bounce email off that server and use it as your own SMTP server if it allows connections to it. You can also get information about the organization's email structure. Again, it's server, IP address and name possibly, the email accounts and so forth that are on the server, and so on. Network Time Protocol is another service you can enumerate to find out exactly what the time stamps are for the network and exactly what the network time is set to. And the reason this might be helpful for you is a lot of protocols are time sensitive. Kerberos, for example, on an Active Directory network is very sensitive to the time. If the time is off by as much as 5 minutes, then clients and users can't authenticate to the network. So enumerating NTP can tell you exactly how the time is set and possibly give you ideas about how to reset the time on particular boxes to an offset such that they can't log in anymore or can't authenticate. DNS is also a popular network service to enumerate, as is DHCP, because clients rely on these services. In the case of DNS, some of the enumeration techniques might involve a zone transfer, an actual transfer of the entire DNS record from a server to another, typically an unauthorized server. You also might get machine names out of that or network services. What you want to enumerate on a network are typically network devices. You also may sniff network traffic to get information about the different services that are running on the network, as well as clients, usernames, and so forth. You might even get an idea if there are clear text protocols running on the network by using a sniffer such as Wireshark. So enumerating network traffic is one method of getting a lot of information from the network itself. You would just simply set up a sniffer and listen, and that's all you'd do. Passively listen for a while and see what you get. We're going to look at a couple of these tools, and there are millions of tools out there, so if I don't mention your favorite tool, it's okay. You can definitely pick and choose the tools you like for network enumeration. And again, a lot of these are multi-purpose tools that do a lot of different things. You can find tools that will ping the network, do a sweep, port scan, and so forth, and enumerate the entire network. So we're going to look at a couple of these tools. We're going to look at Wireshark, obviously, NetScan Tools Pro, and an older tool that I still like to use called NetTools. And again, there are plenty of tools out there for specific LDAP enumeration techniques, SNMP, SMTP enumeration, and so forth. So pick and choose your own tool or use one of these multi-purpose tools I'm going to show you. What I'm looking at now on the Windows 7 box is the new version of NetScan Tools Pro, and this is just a demo version. And basically, NetScan Tools Pro is a multi-purpose piece of software that can do a lot of things for you. It can actually ping the network, it can get a sweep, it can show you all the hosts that are on the network, it can do port scans and so forth, but it can also enumerate and do a lot of other things too. So it's kind of a multifunction toolbox. You can get the demo version and play with it for a while and decide if you like it and then buy it, of course. And there are a lot of different tools here. There's some automated tools, and basically how you would use these, you would enter your data and it would go ahead and do whatever you want here. Here are some automated tools that it will run. And I've got VTC.com here in my target. I'm not actually going to run this tool because it can actually be a little bit intrusive. For example, you can ping the target with it, do a trace route, and it will also do port scans. So I really don't want to do that. But you can see here that there's a lot of different options, including DNS fingerprinting and DNS enumeration, that are present here in this automated tool. Now there's also manual tools here, and you can look at a lot of different services, network services here. Simple services, you can also look at, and these simple services are typically older services you might find on a Unix or Linux host. You also have SMTP server tests, and this will basically let you pick and choose an SMTP server to play with and see if it actually will allow you to bounce email. There's also SNMP tests, SSL tests, and other different kinds of tests that you can run on servers to get information from them. So NetScan Tools Pro has a lot of different tools out there that you can use to enumerate an entire network. Just be careful and make sure it's your network you're enumerating or a network you have permission to enumerate. Now in this next session, we're going to look at a couple other cool tools as well.